Have you noticed that the weather really affects you psychologically? On dark, cold, rainy, cloudy days like this one, your mood drops, you feel unmotivated, tired, discouraged, and you just don't want to socialize with anyone. But on bright sunny days, you feel energized, motivated, hopeful, optimistic, and you just are unstoppable. The weather has a big effect on us. We can't change it, but it really does affect us. And there's a lot of similarities in the spirit world. When you're in a dark or oppressive spiritual place, your faith level drops, it sucks out your hope and optimism, and you really drag spiritually. But when you're in a spiritually healthy place, your faith rises, you want to worship, you're optimistic, and you're excited about walking with God into the future. But did you know that unlike the weather that you can't change, you can change the spiritual atmosphere that you're living in? Remember Paul and Silas? They were setting people free, introducing them to Jesus, and they were imprisoned and beaten and put into the inner dungeon. Now, they had every right to come under a very dark spiritual and physical atmosphere. They had every right to be discouraged, bitter, hopeless, and wanting to give up. But what did they do? They chose to change the spiritual atmosphere, and they started worshiping. And when they worshiped, it released the presence of Jesus into that very dark place. And what was the result? There was an earthquake, the chains fell off, and a whole family came to Jesus. That's pretty good for a short worship service. But do you realize that you can change the spiritual atmosphere everywhere you go? The same Spirit of Jesus that was in Paul and Silas is in you. There's no difference. You can release the presence of Jesus even when you're in a dark place by worshiping, and let Him shine out through you, because He's alive and living in you exactly as He was with Paul and Silas. So the next time you find yourself in a dark place and you feel your spirit start to sag, choose not to come under that heaviness, but choose to change the spiritual atmosphere by releasing the presence of Jesus. Because it will not only change you, but it's contagious. It will change the people around you. And it could be a tremendous blessing and dispel the heaviness that you've walked into. So to live a transformed life, you need to learn and practice changing the spiritual atmosphere that you walk into every day. Now I want to hear from you. How have you been able to change the spiritual atmospheres that you've walked into and change it from dark to light? Just leave your comments in the box below, because we want to hear your testimony. And if this is your first visit here, you need to get my free self-assessment guide. And to do that, just subscribe to my weekly email newsletter by filling out the subscription form, and you know where it is. It's always right there. And I'll talk to you again next week. But this week, change the spiritual atmosphere everywhere you go.